Hello and welcome back to Exothermic Plays Games. I'm Exothermic and the date today is Thursday, July 18th, 2024. I've been doing a countdown of my favorite video games of all time through each day of the year, and coming in at number 167 is Dishonored. In Dishonored, you play as Corvo, the personal guard of Empress Jessamine Caldwin, leader of the, empire the game takes place in. Don't worry too much about her. Corvo sucked at his job and she dies immediately. Unfortunately for Corvo, the coup is able to frame him for the murder and arrests you for execution. Thankfully, there's an underground resistance that saves you and you run the rest of the game through them. Dishonored is set in Dunwall, the capital city of the Empire of the Isles. It's a massive port town. It draws inspiration of castle towns of old, but the Industrial Revolution hit hard. The predominant resource available to the city, both economically and technologically, is whales. Using whale oil, they're able to power a pretty insane amount of tech. While much of the world is similar to England's Industrial Revolution, some of it is pretty advanced in comparison. Look out for the Tesla coils and automatic electrocution fields. Unfortunately, as much as you have technology, you also have plague. Rats are rampant throughout the city, transmitting a terrible disease that's wiping out the population. The game's a stealth shooter, and you go on missions with specific objectives for the rebellion, but how you accomplish them is entirely up to you. With a large arsenal of weapons and tricks up your sleeve, you can be as aggressive or stealthy as you want. Personally, I don't have the patience with this game to go the full stealth route, but there are achievements for beating the game without ever killing a single person. A lot of that will be via distraction, stealth, and so many sleeping darts. Like an outrageous amount of sleeping darts. If you want, you can just blitz each mission, but you'd be missing out on a lot of great city exploration if you do that. There's a lot of world building hidden throughout, not only in the visual aspects, but story elements like books and little notes and letters that you find. Throughout each mission, there's a number of hidden items that are essential to upgrading your character, too. You can find runes that are a currency to unlock new skills and upgrade your stats. There's a side story here, too, because you're very special for being able to tap into these runes. In fact, they're a gift from some kind of corrupt ancient being. It's weird. It's cool. In addition to runes, there's bone charms, and each one you find has a special ability you can toggle that modifies the world around you. You can only use a certain number of them at a time, but it provides a lot of ways to grow into your preferred playstyle. You're not just stumbling around blindly looking for these things, although I guess you can, but you can hold a literal beating heart to more easily locate them. It's weird. It's cool. Despite all of this tech and basically magic spells you can cast, your primary weapon is a sword, a saber, whatever. If Post Malone wants to out-nerd me in the comments to correct my sharp stick terminology, I won't stop him. While the upfront engagements are typically more about your other weapons, the stealth kills and some of the more brutal frontal assaults have some pretty awesome, and I mean graphic, blade work. The game encourages you to think carefully about how violent you get, not out of some weird sense of, what are those called? Oh, yeah, morals. Not because of that. Because the more chaos you cause in the world, the more it changes. The game tracks how violent and chaotic your character is, from combat, to setting off alarms, to rat control. All of this has an impact on how the rest of the game will shape up. There may be more guards, or they may be more alert. The plague throughout the city may get worse or better. This is one of the game's coolest concepts, but I don't think they did quite enough with it. Other than changing the ending to the game, it's pretty subtle, and I would have liked to see a larger range of how the city evolves throughout the game from your actions. Regardless of how it impacts the rest of the world, there's a handful of really cool ways to kill guards. My favorite is hacking the electricity gates, which just consumes an item. No cool hacking minigame here, unfortunately. But once hacked, you can walk through them, and enemies can walk through them once. Look at them go. You'd think watching your coworker evaporate into dust would cause you to rethink running through the gate, but Dunwall's guards aren't known for their intelligence. When you're not traversing through the city, breaking as many laws as possible, you're chilling at the headquarters for the rebellion. On the outskirts of town, there's a rundown hotel that you've set up shop in, and all of the major players in this effort are crashing there. As you build up your allies, you unlock some new stuff, like a techie that helps upgrade all of your guns. There's individual character storylines you can build up and follow. It turns out that not everyone is there just for the good of the people, and there's a lot of moral gray area within the rebellion. Talking to everyone and exploring their subplots is a pretty good time, and you may recognize a lot of the voices. It's a pretty star-studded cast. In no particular order, there's John Slattery, Brad Dourif, Lena Headey, Chloe Grace Moretz, Susan Sarandon, and Carrie Fisher. Princess Leia is in this game. Dishonored is an ambitious project that clearly had a lot of love put into it, and it delivered on a lot of its ambition. The setting is great, the combat, while at times lacking fluidity, has a lot of room for strategy, and decent, but admittedly not amazing granularity, and the narrative is pretty compelling despite some pacing issues going from story beat to story beat. But I forgive those pacing issues because they're my own damn fault for having too much fun exploring each level before actually making headway with the mission. Join me tomorrow as I talk about my 166th favorite game where I know I won't survive, but try my hardest anyways.